And we are here for episode 70. Can you believe we've been doing this for 70 episodes? Yeah, it definitely feels like it. Here at the Wrestling Roundtable podcast, I'm Ryan Hall. I got my guy Dominique LaRue dressed out in Star Wars paraphernalia today. I'm sure some metaphors about the old Republic will come into play here on this episode here today, but I could definitely say there's been a lot of speculation online this week. There's been a ton of speculation online this week about the path that WWE seems to be going towards with our guy Jey Uso winning the King of the Ring. Now, you and I are both team Yeet. I mean, you and I are both fans of Jey Uso. But I'm starting to feel like we're part of the minority on that right now because he's getting so much hate online.
Yeah, absolutely. IWC is really not feeling Jay. And I don't, I mean, okay, I get why, but at the same time, why is Jay getting all this hate for just being what he's literally been the entirety of the Bloodline storyline? I mean, since he left the Bloodline, like, they're so quick to switch up on people when I guess certain things they don't like uh, happen. Like you and I love Jay, and things that we don't like, we voice it. But the the majority of Jay, I like. But obviously, when he eats his entire interest and he really just blows himself up before the match, that was one of the things
Right.
that we disliked. His mic skills at times needed work, but that was only when he was like being the quote unquote, like Gunther said, the cheerleader or the merchandise getter for WWE. But like
The
when you
mascot, yeah.
yeah, the mascot, yeah. And when you strip that off and you really get into the meat of Jay, we both been on the same page about this. Like when you go back to the very first beginning of Bloodline, when he was a right hand man, Jey Uso, when he was basically forging himself to be his own person. I ain't liked it that Jay. Crash out Jay, whatever you want to call it. Crash out Jay, right hand man, I'm gonna go get him, this, that, third, whatever, whatever. Because it showed the human side of Jay. It showed the dynamic of the bloodline, like those three guys, the two brothers and the cousin. And like uh I just I'm hoping that we're getting that now. And well, well know why he's getting majority of the hate. Because if you're noticing things now with the bloodline, um, he was the one that woke up with CM Punk. He told him to
Yeah.
get him. Like, yo, Joe, get him. Like he's talking about our family, get him. And um, he don't like LA Knight running his mouth. Jimmy obviously is trying to be the cool, collecting one, but Jay is all he sees is red. And then the dynamic with Jacob being introduced into the bloodline, that's very interesting to me on where they're going with that. But I don't, this is not the NWO situation. Okay. Every storyline they do with bloodline, besides, with Roman is away, has been on point. Um, they're
Yeah.
they're taking us up and down again, but like it's making sense, right? It's going deeper into their uh trying to think of a word, mythology of
Okay.
their family bloodline. So I'm interested to see where it's going. And then like last, what was it, Monday night? The interesting part about that was um when Roman was saying everybody in the bloodline, but he didn't mention The Rock. So
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like,
no, I know, yeah, I know that you texted me about that. He had on pretty much everybody. Like he even mentioned Yokozuna, and Yokozuna was kayfabe Japanese.
yeah, yeah. So that'll be spoiler alert for anybody that didn't know that. But
Uh,
yes,
also breaking news: The Undertaker and Kane are not really related. So continue.
and the Undertaker is actually alive, but he's not. He's never been a
Exactly.
dead man.
But but point taken. There's like I want to see like I'm glad you brought him up because the kind of the dynamic that Jacob Fatu is bringing into this bloodline after that match, after after the kissing of the ring, so to speak, the metaphorical ring. Um, I'm loving just kind of like this pit bull character that they have Jacob Fatu as because he can go out and do the dirty work for Roman. He can go out and he can go out and be the enforcer. He can go out and be the Luca Brasi, so to speak, the hitman for the bloodline. And that can save Roman from getting his hands dirty. But at the same time, the the distrust, the dis just straight up dislike that Jacob clearly has for Jey Uso is also fascinating to me as well because that's going to blow up at a very inopportune time. And I think it should blow up at a very inopportune time.
Yes. Uh, do you think it blows up in between the King and United Champions going to SummerSlam or at SummerSlam? Do it blows up, or do it continues to boil over to possibly Survivor Series, maybe?
I, I think you need to build this. I think you need to long game this because it eventually needs to come to the point where either Jacob beats the super kick or Jay takes the Tongan. Roman loses his mind. Jimmy loses his mind. Um, because those two specifically need to go at it. Now, I don't. I don't. I think SummerSlam is too soon to pull that trigger. But at the same time, you can start laying the groundworks for SummerSlam, moving into a Survivor Series, and maybe even into WrestleMania 43.
Do you think what is your percentage on Jay and Jacob possibly going at it? Because I feel like there is a strong possibility, but I feel like they're trying to make us uh they're trying to make us
Like
what's the
almost
word?
manipulating us into
Yeah,
thinking that's like
absolutely.
inevitable. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking. Where that might be the case, but then maybe. it could backfire and maybe go left towards Roman, maybe. But I'm gonna say that because that could be a way, but like with Roman being Roman now, like Roman being uh the hit, I mean the guy, uh the guy that he was before he lost everything. I think we're going down that road of the dark realm,
Hmm.
the soprano realm. Uh what you call him, the mafia boss.
Yeah. Don Anawahi. You know, to answer your question, I don't think I don't think it's inevitable that Jacob and Jay go at each other. I don't think it's inevitable. I'm thinking more 60-40 that it does happen. That it maybe it doesn't culminate in a match, but I still think that like I still think that the ultimate goal needs to be strip Roman Reigns of everything. Like he ends like he's back to where he was, where he's like a lone wolf, so to speak. Lost his family, lost his title, lost his wise man, and he had to build himself back up, rung by rung, climbing that ladder again. And I think that there's a like I feel like there's a possibility. Like I feel like there's a possibility that could happen because if Roman just keeps winning everything, if he just keeps, if he just keeps winning everything, his character ends up becoming not as compelling. I think it's happening with Cody Rhodes as we speak. Um, like his character, his gimmick is just not nearly as compelling as it was when he was chasing, when he was trying to rebuild himself after Paul Heyman left, after the twins left, after his empire kind of crumbled.
Yeah. Um, I believe I'm interested to see what's going to happen tomorrow night because obviously Solo is another piece
Agreed.
of the puzzle that Roman is trying to get back into the bloodline to make it even more stronger than it is now. And if Solo does fall in line, what does that do to Tomatonga and the other Tonga? I think Tomatonga is going to leave and kind of form something with Finn Balor and Shinsuke, which I'm sure we can get on that in another episode. But I'm very interested to see where we going. What chapter is this in the Bloodline saga we're going in? So
Like, yeah, what inning do you think we're in at this point?
I think I think the bottom
Mhm.
of the seventh, maybe.
Okay. Because yeah, I mean, and I think, and I kind of agree with you because I do feel like there is an end point in play here. Does it wind up, going to Saudi Arabia and having Rock and Roman finally do battle? Or is it just something different? Um, but I feel like to avoid it going down the whole NWO track, there has to be an end point. There has to be an end game. There has to be a finish line. None of us can see it right now, obviously, but there has to be a finish line.
Right.
or else we're gonna wind up with Bloodline Red and Black. Bloodline
Oh
Wolfpack,
God.
Bloodline Silver and Black. Yeah,
As
that
much as
would
people
scare
want
the
to,
hell out of me.
as much as people want to rag on the bloodline, continuing on. I mean, thank God it's continuing on. I mean, I'm sick of Judgment Day.
Amen. Yeah.
I pretty much got the same. I pretty much got the same gripe of Judgment Day as the IWC has of Bloodline going on. Uh, but I don't know why fans are like over the Bloodline saga because I mean it's still enticing. It's not like the NWO where
Yeah. Amen to
they
that.
just
Yeah.
they were just on top of the world and then they just were throwing stuff at the wall and just like this gonna work, this gonna work, this gonna work. Like they're not sitting here letting like Tyler- what was his name? I think Tyler Hansborough, or the point guard for the Pacers and Jalen Brunson being involved in their storyline. Like no, it's just strictly people in the bloodline. That makes sense.
Right.
Like NWO, they got too happy where the position they was at. Like yeah, they was open WWF, but they got too complacent. They just thought whatever they do was going to work, and it didn't. And that's when it started to become a laughing stock, or it started to implode on themselves when they had too many shelves and not enough books in the kitchen.
So what you're saying is that if it was going down the NWO track, we'd have a match at SummerSlam,
Yes.
like a tag team match featuring Jalen Brunson and Tyler Hansborough,
Oh God,
like
please.
we did with Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman back in the day.
Oh God, please, no. Please let that be like a Danhausen. He brought Jalen Brunson to the, event one day, and obviously that makes sense, right? Because Danhausen literally is one of the reasons why the Knicks won the finals. So
Yeah,
that will make sense far as bringing Brunson in for a storyline with him. I'm okay with that. When you bring celebrities in, it has to make sense. The whole actually would have made sense if they would have done it better. Um, Jelly Roll would have made sense if they would have done it better.
yeah,
But putting him in something with Cody Rhodes, it absolutely didn't make no sense. Obviously, yes, Randy Orton did tag with Jelly Roll, but the the direction we was going with Randy Orton and Cody, you didn't need no extra. Just them two alone was enough story that you need.
I've
Dusty
said it before.
Rhodes,
I'll say it.
God rest his
Yeah,
soul, is the main reason why they could cook up something.
yeah.
But you chose to bring Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll into it, and I'm just like,
All right. I've said it
yo,
before. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If Pat McAfee had just stayed at the announcer table where he belonged, I wouldn't have happened with it.
yeah. If you matter of fact,
But he had to get
if he was just
involved.
stay,
But
he would stay home. If he would stay home with his baby girl, just spend time with her and come back when he's ready to come back, and it makes sense. It would be fine. But you didn't need to get involved with that particular story angle when Randy was on the phone with somebody. We thinking it's somebody that made sense. The Rock, Ric Flair, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, somebody in the realm of YouTube that made sense. and I hate going back down that rabbit hole and like bringing it up, but that's what we've been preaching on the show is like we need stuff to make sense. The bloodline makes sense.
Yes, it
Stuff going
does.
on with Cody. Yeah, it makes sense it makes sense if it's just Cody and Gunther, but then you add Sami Zayn in it, and Sami Zayn's talking about he's the last good guy, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, on paper, and obviously matches are booked on paper, but they're not wrestled on paper. But on paper, Gunther should wipe the ring with Cody Rhodes Friday night.
Wipe it, mop it.
And this is gonna it's gonna end up being a triple threat at SummerSlam with Cody, Sammy, and Gunther. And you sacrificed Gunther off of Raw for that. Make that make sense.
Yeah, right. Like, come on, man. Jeez Louise.
Like how like how? Like how is it so obvious? I mean, granted, we're operating on hindsight, but how is it so obvious? It is, and yet it's not as obvious to the people in the writers' room.
Yeah, it's not. I honestly, they don't have a drug policy anymore because I mean, probably half of them in the writers' room are on some type of paraphernalia. So,
Kind of the writer's curse, my friend.
you
Like Hemingway
said
says,
that
right
you
drunk,
said
edit
Danhausen, you
sober.
said that you said Danhausen cursed him. No, he had. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He hasn't cursed them yet because if he did, everything would make sense now. Because he puts things that doesn't make sense, and then they un like the Miz. Why is the Miz even important right now? We need to curse him and get him out of the way. Who else he cursed that made sense? It was it. Who was his first curse? I'm trying to remember. Oh,
Dominic.
well, pay my respects. When he cursed New Day, I didn't think they were just going up and leave WWE, but you know,
Curse him out of the company.
yeah. But it makes sense because they wasn't getting used like they were supposed to. So they moved on and got up out of there, which makes sense. So
We don't ask for much here. We don't ask for
not at all.
much. We just want things to make sense. I don't think that's too
That's all.
much to ask.
That's all. I mean, you know, if you want us to pay $30 to watch ESPN Unlimited and pay this to watch it on Netflix and pay this to watch it on such. I mean, you got to make it make sense.
Yeah. By the way, I was kind of flipped because the Braves got rained out tonight. I was curious as to what, if anything, was on ESPN tonight on the ESPN app, and that place is a black hole tonight. I mean, there's nothing going on. The College World Series championship hadn't started yet. Um, there's no Major League Baseball on there tonight. I mean, it's a black hole. And I say it again, if you got ESPN Unlimited just for WWE, I mean this from the bottom of my southern heart. Bless your heart.
Thanks. And I mean,
Yeah.
we entered the dark days of summer. I mean, if you're not an MLB fan
Right.
and a WNBA fan or a WWE fan, you pretty much gonna be disappointed.
Or World Cup for that matter.
World Cup or College World Series. You pretty much gonna
Right.
be scrapping for straws.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh boy. Um, so what else are we feeling in wrestling this week? Because I was just looking at what's left in the on the women's side of the King of the Ring, the Queen of the Ring, and it just seems too obvious that Io Sky is going to win this. Now,
Yes,
now could it end
it's
up being could it end up being where where this eventually becomes a breakup ankle for the Judgment Day? My lips to God's ears, apparently, but I just feel like EO and Rhea just make way too much sense. Even if, and we all know the stories that have been out there that Rhea may be injured and possibly seriously. We hope that's not the case, obviously, but um, EO and Rhea Ripley just make way too much sense based off of their relationship.
um, that's true. And I think I think it's not that simple as we're thinking it is. Because I just thought about it. Charlotte and Liv are wrestling. To be honest, Liv has no business to be in that tournament at all as champion. That makes absolutely no sense unless she gets something happen to her, which I hope that it happens. You know me, I got my fingers crossed as always. Something drastic happens to Judgment Day, and something interesting happened on Monday night where Liv wanted to take her little blonde
Yes.
tail in somebody's room, or lair, I may say, and ask a particular person that only do curse when he feels like doing a curse, and ask them could he curse Oba Femi. Now, granted, he could curse Oba Femi, but why would you want to curse Oba Femi and then Oba Femi comes for you? So I feel like Danhausen might end up cursing Liv. Liv ends up losing to Charlotte. Then, with that being said, it's a possibility that Io Sky could win. I wouldn't be mad at that. But it's a
I wouldn't
possibility that
either.
she could lose to Charlotte. And Charlotte leaves SmackDown and goes to Raw to fight Liv. And possibly since Liv is cursed and Charlotte knows that, that's an easy win for Charlotte. Or we have three other contestants that I have in mind. Raquel Rodriguez, yeah, Raquel Rodriguez, or Roxanne Perez, or a return Stephanie that could come back and wrestle. So I mean, it's a lot of different options. I'm kind of interested in seeing if they do go that route with Liv and Charlotte fights Liv because you can always, you know, put Io Sky against Rhea. Maybe Rhea be like, hey, I saw you got, I mean, cheated out, or I saw you had lost to Charlotte, but I still was hoping that you won, so maybe you and I could get in there and go at it again.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, basically. So that could be another way, but I mean, who knows?
Possibly.
You know how
Yeah.
the writers are. They should pull a rabbit up the butt in the most uncomfortable way. So
You kind of alluded to it, but I think that that segment between Danhausen and Liv Morgan was a little bit more than just a cute segment. You know what I mean? It was a little bit more than just a cute segment because unless Liv Morgan can come up with plenty of human monies, um, and there was a parade a few miles down the road because Danhausen uncursed a certain team in New York City. I think we know how powerful those curses are. And if some of my writer friends would hear this podcast and hear me talking about curses, oh boy. But my I think my point is I think my point is taken is that there's way too much to lose by keeping Judgment Day around much longer. Because I feel like that I kind of feel like that is getting closer to the whole NWO, year four with them.
Past that. You know me, I felt like they've been past that since the two original members outside of Finn left. Like
Yeah.
you take them big stars off of the group, what do you have after that? I mean, Dom and Liv can carry them also far, but I mean, it's, it's over. Let them know.
I mean, the original member of the group ain't even with the company anymore.
I mean, name ain't even the same no more. You
I
government, you
know.
got a government name now. So, what do we do?
They don't know.
They never know. They never know.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's the problem.
I do think we have a particular interesting and juicy story that we want to touch base on pertaining to not just Jey Uso, but uh and who's to say Jey may win? Maybe the young OG does squeak it out. And that'd be shocking to me to even see that. But it only makes sense that Jey wins because I can't see and I don't want to be disrespectful to the young OG because I love his character. I love everything he does in the ring. It's amazing. Is it is he on the same level as the Oba Femi as far as like pulling the trigger on him this early for him to get a shot at a world title or an undisputed title? I can't see that. So I can see Jay, right?
Right.
And Jay versus Oba Femi is a good matchup. It's interesting. But are we sitting here thinking that it's actually going to be a one-on-one match and not some shenanigans involved? That is what I'm interested in. And that is what I want to touch base on because you and I have been said this probably why the WrestleMania match was building up that you got to find a way to get Brock Lesnar in Minnesota, his hometown, at SummerSlam. And what better way than not only do they both are tied 1-1.
Hmm.
According to Steiner math, I don't want to go further into it, but Brock Lesnar said something that didn't make sense. Uh, the match between whoever wins out of Jey Uso and the young OG Javon Evans, the winner goes to fight Oba Femi for King of the Ring, correct?
Yeah, King of the Ring.
Let me think of the past winners. The particular winner caused Stone Cold Steve Austin to leave for a year because of creative differences. And I'm thinking, Stone Cold felt like he didn't want to lose to a guy very big, very fast, very young. I think Paul Heyman felt him the next big thing at the time.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. God, Lorzer, something like that. Lorzer, Laser, something like that.
He doesn't move. It's like a AA like John Cena's, but he don't go over his shoulder. He kind of like flips you like a saucer.
Like a tornado, right?
This guy rip his hands like wrestling like multiple times. Like every time he
Yeah.
shows up in those pants, he hoops them. Um,
Right. Yeah.
yes, yes, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was king of the ring,
Yes, he
and
was.
I don't think Brock Lesnar wants Oba Femi to get that same title that he has. I feel like Brock Lesnar, and then not only that, but to win King of the Ring and then go on to pick whoever you want to fight at WrestleMania for a title. You think Brock Lesnar won that title? You feel me? After he done got a win on you, and you just go on and just take that L like it ain't nothing, and go on and get a title. That's I
No,
don't
no, no.
think Brock Lesnar likes that.
No, Brock Lesnar wants a pound of flesh, and he wants it in his backyard. And you bring up such a great point. If I could rewind a couple of minutes, um, Javon Evans, like, has the world at his fingertips, but he's still a little bit green, in my opinion. Like, there's still a little bit that can be, like, a little bit of maturing in his character. What makes sense? Because I think it's pretty obvious that Brock Lesnar is going to cost Oba Femi that match at at Night of Champions. And he may or may not rip his jeans doing it. In fact, he probably will. But can you see Javon Evans winning that King of the Ring at that young of an age? When I feel like Jey Uso makes way more sense when Jey Uso just makes way more logical sense. Even though I would love to see it. But is he ready? Is he ready for that? Like, is he ready for that limelight yet?
Right. It it just makes more sense, and especially with Jay doing that promo, and he was like 4 letters, one word, king. I was like, oh, whoa, he's he switched it up on me there. Okay, so that's what makes me feel like Jay Uso is, you know, going to win it all.
Despite how the IWC feels about that.
Yeah, despite I mean, we already know how Tony Khan and the writing room feels about how the IWC feels on anything that doesn't matter in that manner. So how do you feel about playing out in your mind?
I feel like I feel like all signs point to Jey Uso. I feel like I would have loved to have seen LA Knight make a better run in this, but I feel like all signs point to Jey Uso. But at the same time, are we getting set up for a swerve here? Are we getting set up for like are we be like is this becoming like a smoke screen? Is it becoming like a smoke screen for something that because that's the thing that's kind of stuck in my mind right now because it makes too much sense for Jey Uso to win this thing, especially if what happens with Brock and Oba Femi goes down the way that it will most likely go down. Of course, we may all get surprised. We may all get surprised, and instead of instead of Jey Uso winning, a hooded figure from the crowd gets into the ring and drops Jey Uso with an RKO. God, I hope they don't go that route again, but who the hell knows?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested to see where we go with this. I mean, so many different. I mean, because then who's to say LA Knight don't interfere in that match too? I mean, he got his discrepancies with the
He's
bloodline,
got beef. He's definitely got beef with him.
and I feel like they may want to run that with Jey Uso versus LA Knight going into SummerSlam. So, but to give Javon Evans to the rub to go against Oba Femi and then win King of the Ring, I don't. I'm not mad at it, and kudos to them for pulling the trigger if they do. I mean, like Javon Evans has star potential, and also Roman Reigns has been in the back talking to the young man and giving him advice and stuff. So
Yeah,
I I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad, but to see him lose to Penta for the IC title and kind of it's just I don't know. I, I, I don't know. I don't know. So I mean, it just all the signs point to Jay being King of the Ring. It makes sense because of where are we going with this trajectory of there's another seat at the table. You know what I mean?
but is it at the head of the table?
The other
You
end
see
of
what
the
I
table.
did there? Yeah,
See,
yeah, the other end, the other head of the table. Yeah,
and the other thing was that see what you did there.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we got another week to speculate about that, and yeah, I think this. I feel like before we go home here, I feel like there's a lot of momentum in a lot of these storylines with WWE right now, but balls can get dropped, balls can get fumbled,
Oh,
and and I don't know if I have a hell of a lot of trust in this writing staff right now.
honestly, though, you already know my. I'm not gonna crash out, but you already know my discrepancy about the writing room about a particular group of individuals. So
Yeah, yeah, it's let's hold off on that crash out until next episode, shall we?
yes, sir. Yes.
All right, all right. All right. Well, got another one, episode 70 is in the can. Um, just from the bottom of my heart, and I know, Dom, I'd love to invite you to say a few words about this, but this has just it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a lot of fun doing this with you. I know we've had Brandy pop in for a couple of episodes, but it's been a hell of a lot of fun doing this with you. And I love the momentum the show is getting. I love the energy these shows have. And the feedback we've been getting has been incredible. So, keep spreading the word.
Absolutely. To piggyback off of what you were saying, I enjoy every week of doing this with you. To talk to myself 70 episodes ago and how I was feeling before we started, I was nervous. I was like, man, I don't know who would even want to listen to me talk about wrestling, let alone just talk in general. And just really. getting out of my comfort zone of that. I am proud of myself. I'm proud of us. I enjoy doing
Absolutely.
this. This is a breath of fresh air every week to just get here and sit here and talk to my buddy here about what we are passionate about every week. We sit here and text our wrestling group, you know, during Monday and Fridays and PLEs. And I I am excited for 70 more. I'm excited for 1,000. I want to see us get to 1,000. I want to see growth within our podcast for sure. And I am absolutely astonished that we made it to 70. And I am looking forward to bigger and better things for us because I do truly believe that like we're meant to do this because
Uh,
it's been a ride. It's been fun.
Yeah,
So
it's been a hell of a lot of fun. Couldn't agree with you more, brother. I think this is I think the best is yet to come. So episode 70 is in the books. Episode 71 is going to be our King of the Ring preview, and we can't wait for y'all to join us.
we got some theories and more things to cook up. I'm sure we get more Easter eggs from Marvin through. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for following us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. You can follow our Facebook page or any of our social media pages. All the links are going to be in the description. Like like this episode, share it with a friend, throw us a review on Apple and Spotify, and follow us next week. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And until we eat again, take care and so long for now.